God, I just had to make sure I wasn't wearing the same shirt.
Yeah,
I wasn't. I'm not.
Look,
Same shoes, though.
There is this moment where I constantly go back and check. I'm like, did I wear that last week? Of course I wore Raiders gear. It's every week. It's the Kickoff, presented by Ram Trucks. He's Gary Striewski. I'm Jason Fitz. We have so much to get into as we get you ready for a massive weekend in sports. But can we start by looking back for just a second? Because speaking of my beloved Raiders, if you are a fan of the AFC, we're screwed. Like the Bills last night, no pun intended, they just absolutely trucked the Rams.
I like that. Knee-jerk reaction. The Rams look terrible. They might not even make the playoffs.
Oh, Gary's coming with the hot takes.
I don't know.
We'll get to hot takes in a minute, by the way. I just get to blow a whistle in his face, which is going to make me happy. But maybe the coolest moment out of this game wasn't even about the football game. It was a gender reveal. Look, usually I'm anti-gender reveals, but you can't be anti this one. After scoring a touchdown, going in and saying, "It's a boy." Oh, that's a special way to,
hooking up his sister with the official gender reveal. I mean, that's one memorable way to do it. You just got to make sure you don't forget and in the heat of the moment say the wrong one. Because then you're in trouble.
What, you think you're going to get boy, it's a girl confused? Gary's just off the rails. But one thing we do know is obviously that Josh Allen looked like an MVP candidate. The Bills looked like the best team in the NFL. And today, nobody's surprised by that. You shouldn't be surprised by a slate of amazing football that we have coming at you all weekend long. Alabama taking on Texas, the controversial noon kickoff. We'll get to that later in the show.
Dude.
I mean, Texas fans, not particularly in love with that. I love the idea of Tennessee taking on Pittsburgh. A lot of offense in that game. Let's see if the hype is real for Heupel. And Kentucky's never won 10 games in the season without beating Florida. They'll have to do it in the swamp, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's can't miss football.
Don't jump over USC Stanford right there. After we saw what Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams were able to do last week, goodness gracious, they might hang up 70 on Stanford.
You're right. I was being an East Coast elitist, and that's what is going to hate me. In the meantime, you mentioned last week, one of the best moments we saw may not have had anything to do with the football game.
We feel like John Daly kind of fits our demographic, and you know what else fits our demographic is what we brought him in for. John, why don't you start us with the hillbilly headlines?
Well, I'm not going to lie, I'm drunk.
Is that my fault?
No, I had a few before that, but this is unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
There are few moments more on brand than John Daly, the legend, hanging out with Marty and McGee, the legends, with the perfect answer. Gentlemen, what was it like? I mean, at some point, you're hanging out with John Daly in Arkansas. Marty, give me just a sense of what the vibe was like.
Well, John Daly in Fayetteville, Arkansas is like, he's like Woo Pig Jesus.
And he was.
I mean, he's like Woo Pig Jesus.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he walked out there, man, it was bedlam. And then, that little clip you guys just played went viral, as the young people like McGee like to say. Yeah. I mean,
I'm a big
I really did think it was my fault, Fitzy. I thought it was my fault. I had brought John Daly from a tailgate that McGee and I went to, the Tusk to Tail tailgate.
Yeah.
And I thought I got him hammered between the time we got back and the hillbilly headline.
Y'all should have seen us on the golf cart. We left that tailgate and headed back to where Daly was, and Marty was two-fisting it with a couple of red Solo cups, and I had a plate full of bacon and eggs and brisket. And we're on the golf cart like, oh, hey, we're getting paid today. But, yeah, that was a hillbilly headline. The hillbilly headline, literally the quote was, it was from a guy in Florida got pulled over for DUI and told the police, "I'm not going to lie, I'm drunk." And John Daly was like, "I'm rolling with this," and it was also factually accurate.
I don't know. New life goal is for Gary Striewski and I to crash the Marty and McGee set and just, get a little schmammered before a game.
Here's the thing.
Come on with it, man.
Daly
we got all the resources you need, boss.
It was only 8:30 in the morning, so I don't know what you
Daly
want.
sets the bar so high. That guy is Showtime all the time. It was a party in Fayetteville. Half-hour headlines are my favorite thing when I'm driving home on the weekends after the show. So watching Daly do it with you guys was chef's kiss.
We just aim to educate.
That's it.
What you guys got to understand is
it's the best 3 minutes of my weekend when I'm getting my news via the hillbilly headlines.
Florida's greatest export. It's not oranges. It's not defensive backs. It's
we're raising the self-esteem of Americans nationwide
definitely
by sharing the ineptitude of those who happen to find their they're home on Hillbilly Headline.
We're keeping general assignment reporters at the Associated Press employed. I have to talk about football because that's what we are employed to do. You guys were in Arkansas last week. You're in Vanderbilt this week. You can tell the vibes a little bit different from what we saw last week. But I want to take your attention, guys, to what we're seeing in Austin. We got Alabama. We got Texas. Obviously, the house, the wagon that is the Tide, rolling into DKR. Can you guys give the burnt orange faithful of 100,000 strong tomorrow some sort of optimism and why we should expect to maybe see something special?
Nope. Look,
This is my favorite segment ever.
Here's the thing, fellas. Talking to Coach Saban this week, he is stressing to his players that they have to play to the Alabama standard, not the scoreboard. And that don't listen to the rat poison. Everybody is saying y'all are going to blow out Texas. They don't have a chance in burnt orange, but they have so much talent. Quinn Ewers is a really talented passer. Bijan Robinson is one of the best players in all of college football, and Steve Sarkisian is brilliant at creating mismatches. Now, he's brilliant at creating mismatches when the talent pool is the same. Right now, Alabama's talent is just so much better. And so I do think Alabama's going to win, and I don't think the current spread is inaccurate. I think it's about right. But Saban is telling his guys, you better not listen to that mess. You better go out there and have the self-discipline to demand the best version of self so that thereby collectively we can be the best version of ourselves as a unit. It's going to be loud in that place. They got ballers. So make sure you play Alabama football.
All right, so the flip side of that is when I talk to the coaches at Texas, what they've been preaching all week is, all right, I'm going to quote the high school baseball coach at Travers Rest High School in South Carolina, where I graduated high school, go Devil Dogs, Rocky Pittman, state championship.
Rocky Pittman
told the Devil Dogs, he said, boys, we can't just lay down if they just throw their jocks out on the field. That's basically what Sark has told his team about Alabama this week. Don't be intimidated by the fact that they're Alabama. And what Sark keeps going back to is his first year at Washington, and that team had been 0-whatever the year before, didn't win a game. And it was either the second or third game of Sark's tenure at Washington, and guess what? They beat number 3 USC. And guess what? Sark had coached with that staff, and it all feels very similar. So that's kind of where he's going back to, but he also knows 2/3 of that roster are guys that are wearing burnt orange for the first time. So, it's a long walk. But he's like, just to quote Rocky Pittman, you can't just lay down because they throw the jocks on the field. If Alabama does that.
So short answer, Fitzy, no.
Yeah, no. Right. All right, but speaking of talented rosters, Georgia showed us all of their talent. I mean, give me some sort of thought here. Were we sleeping McGee on Georgia coming in? Did they make a big statement to you?
Yeah, we all slept on them. You know, listen, you don't lose that defense, right? You don't lose all those guys off of historically, statistically. You know, we've never seen a defense like that. And, oh, by the way, you know, the coordinator that ran that defense is now the head coach at Oregon. But guess what? They're still really, really good. And they've still there's only 4 teams that have recruited at this one level that no one else has approached.
This play right here.
It's Georgia, it's Ohio State, it's Alabama, and it's Clemson. And that's kind of it, and we saw it. But Martin and I were talking about today, the last 3 games, who have they beaten? They've beaten, Michigan? They've beaten Alabama, and they've beaten Oregon by an average score of like 31-9. So, yeah, hey, oh, by the way, the defending national champs are pretty good, and Marty, your boy, behind center will look really good.
Well, I was down in Athens ahead of this game, guys, to sit down with Stetson Bennett for College Game Day, SEC Nation. And it was funny chatting with him about how his life has evolved since he led Georgia to the national championship and wrote this unbelievable movie script from walk-on to JUCO to buried on the depth chart to beating everybody else out to being the guy that all of those 4- and 5-star players would run through a brick wall for. And he said, well, hell, I guess I just forgot. I guess people never did tell me that I couldn't play. You know, it's interesting to me that we just continually want to find some flaw in Stetson Bennett's game, and all he does is just continue to prove everybody wrong all the time. The guy is an absolute ball player and the perfect guy to lead that program. I was very impressed with what they did, extremely impressed. I expected a lot closer game. I think everybody did. I mean, that's just a whooping.
Oregon's good. and they just wore them out. Oregon's really good, y'all, and Oregon and Georgia just wore them out.
Listen, fellas, I think we're all old enough to remember when Stetson Bennett allegedly couldn't throw the football down the field, and here he is hanging up 300 yards against Oregon.
You only got to be a week old to remember when one of us said that Georgia was going to absolutely crush Oregon. It's this guy. I am rarely right. I am tooting my own horn. Go ahead. We got another question.
You're right. Quite often. All right, let's talk about the first SEC. I know we got a lot of cupcakes going into week 2, but we have a first ranked matchup between Kentucky against Florida. Obviously, they shocked the world taking care of the 7th-ranked Utes last week. What are we to expect out of Anthony Richardson and what he did and what kind of on-court performance we should expect from him down in the swamp?
Well, first of all, Kentucky does have some dudes on the defensive side of the football, but this is what we've all heard about Anthony Richardson. He's never been healthy until the other night. Dan Mullen, the previous coach at Florida, was extremely loyal to Emory Jones, and so we really never did get to see Anthony Richardson just grip it and rip it. I mean, it was remarkable to watch the way he played. But don't forget the guy on the other side of the ball, Will Levis, is a pretty dang good quarterback too. And in fact, he, in a lot of guys' minds, it might end up being the first one taken in the draft next year. Who knows?
Now, he doesn't know how to eat a banana. We all know that. But he does know how to throw a football. And, oh, by the way, Kentucky – listen, this weekend, there are a lot of what I've always referred to as like $5 million ball games. You look at Arkansas, South Carolina. These are tone setters for the season. And these games, even in week 2, are probably going to determine where you're going to be in your conference, where you're going to be in your division, and where you might be when it comes time to pick bowl teams in January. And these are giant football games in week 2.
Not having Chris Rodriguez for the Kentucky Wildcats is extremely detrimental, because they're going into the swamp, extremely difficult place to play. As we saw last weekend, they were lathered up down there doing the chomp against the Utah Utes. Not having Rodriguez is not good for Will Levis and that Kentucky offense. But I think that kid can spin it, and it'll be fascinating to see, what ends up happening. It is a monster game in the division.
And these Florida guys, I've never bought into this whole they got to rebuild for the next 5 years. Where this roster, and by half of them are back, they should have beaten Alabama a year ago. Should have beaten them. And now they've got a coach that wants to be in the building and is recruiting hard. Yeah. And it's I think the Florida is going to be back to being Florida really, really fast. Certainly based on last week.
I know the world should watch Marty and McGee hanging out tomorrow, obviously on the SEC Network and on ESPN Radio from Nashville. Gentlemen, love to talk to you the whole time, but we got a famous friend that we got to get to. Y'all have a great show, and we're going to kick off now with some Chris Young.
You make a mistake in coverage, Bryce Young's going to find it.
The winner of the 2021 Heisman Memorial Trophy, Bryce Young.
Say goodnight to this one. This kid is big time. This kid may be the best player in the sport. I'm telling you, watch out for Mr. Robinson.
Alabama is still Alabama.
The legend of Nick Saban just continues to grow.
Steve Sarkisian is an offensive savant.
It's time to roll our sleeves up and go to work.
It's not really about what you want. It's about what you're willing to do to get it.
Texas is back, folks.
All I do is happy work.
So, you think Chris Young's going to want to fight Marty now?
Oh, see, I don't know if that's a fair fight. Marty's a littler guy. Like, he's in good shape, but Marty's little.
CY 6'4", ready to bring it.
And look.
Yeah, time out. First of all, I'm 6'4", 250. Marty wants none of this smoke.
We're talking to Josh Allen right now, dude, quarterback of the Bills, 6'5", 240, ready to wreck it.
Oh, my God.
Here I am, excited to talk to my buddy Chris. And right as we're about to come in, my director, Alex, gets in my ears and says, by the way, Chris Young rolled his eyes all the way to the back of his head at your heavy-handed famous friends comment. Chris, what are we doing, CY? Like, what happened?
Hey, first of all, what are you doing? I haven't seen you in a hot minute.
I know, it's been a second.
You know I love you.
I'm busy, right? I'm busy. I'm doing this. You're doing that. How are you going to watch the game this weekend? Like, that's the most important thing. How are you going to watch this Texas football game?
Probably on FaceTime with, and I'm gonna shout him out. My buddy David Glass is a huge Alabama fan, and I need you to cut this clip and send it to me later so I can send it to him to prove that I said he loves Alabama, and so he's been talking all of the crap And no, man, I'm just gonna sit down and enjoy it. I'm so glad football's back. I know it happens every year. I know we always talk about it, but man, I am so pumped for this matchup just because this is kind of going to be Texas. Like, this is our measuring point,
I
right?
mean, it's September.
Are we
it's
good
still
enough?
early, right? You got Bama coming in. It's going to be a home game. I think it's funny how you mentioned you need to watch it on FaceTime, likely, maybe, in an air-conditioned environment, unlike what the 100,000 people at DKR are going to be. And listen, CY, I got your back, man. I knew you were going to be on the program, so I'm not besmirching the burnt orange at all. But this was Texas Twitter yesterday talking about the 11 a.m. kickoff. We checked the forecast. Gonna be in the 90s. The dew point, aka the humidity, gonna be at 50%. So they're gonna be having to wade through that super heavy humidity on the playing field, plus the Alabama defense, man. It's nothing new. It's hot in Texas in September. Do UT fans have a leg to stand on?
It's hot in Texas. It's hot in Alabama. Like, if you're in the South, like, you play in this weather to begin with. If it was snowing, then I would be concerned.
I'm with you on this 100%. It's hot everywhere. Look, we're supposed to ask you a big key for this game. More importantly, when do you, like, if you were going, or even for you watching, when do you start your tailgate, though, for a noon game? Like, you're used to this for the Titans or the Cowboys. I know you're a Cowboys fan, but you're used to noon kickoffs. But, like, this college football, like, what time do you start that roll?
Oh, man. Early. That's all I know how to say. It kind of depends on when your friends get there. Like, my thing is, you've got to show up early for that kickoff. This is, the very first, like, really important game of the season to me. And I know I'm a Texas fan. Sorry, guys, but this is huge. This is a huge matchup. It's Alabama versus Texas. This is a team moving into the SEC, playing the SEC, arguably one of the top two teams for the past decade. Like, this is huge. You've got to show up for this game, and Texas needs to show up as well. The team needs to show up. They need to play their butts off. They have to, if they don't win, make this close.
Also, for the sake of those,
is imperative.
Also, for the sake of those bettors who are taking Bama getting 20 points, they're like, dude, Texas, keep it close. All right, from the collegiate game, let's kick it to the NFL, right? Opening night was last night, and then your Cowboys, Sunday night football against the Bucs. What are we to expect from Dak coming back hopefully healthy? The Jordan fiasco, his foot kind of hurts. He should be fine. CeeDee Lamb, the only receiver on the Cowboys roster right now to have caught a touchdown from Dak, going up against Tommy Terrific. Tell me about it.
Well, I would say this. Yes, Tom Brady's the GOAT, right? Yes, I know Dak. I think they're going to be great. I think Dallas wins this game. I'm calling it. I know it's going to sound like a homer pick. It is in Dallas. Man, Dak was not healthy to start last season. Everyone has to understand that. I get it that we're missing Tyron on the left tackle position. I understand that's a bad thing. But when you have that man right there that you have on screen right now playing at his best, I challenge you to find me someone that's better than him when he's playing his best.
Top two scoring.
I don't disagree with that. Look, I gotta pick this game tonight on Spain and Fitz. So now when I pick it, I'm gonna credit Chris. Like, this is all Chris Young. I'm gonna pick the Cowboys. I think they beat the Bucs, and I also, by the way, think we're overhyping Tampa Bay. But hot takes will come later. Obviously, you've got a new album out, Famous Friends. It's not the deluxe edition, is the new album. I should say it that way. You've had a couple of big number ones on this. I mean, realistically, when you've accomplished what you've accomplished, plus you've got the Quad, your podcast that talks about sports, music, entertainment. You've done so much. What is it that really keeps you fired up about making music?
You know what, man? I think just my love for it. And I know that sounds very basic and very like, okay, we get it. Dude, I've been in the studio all week writing songs, writing new stuff for the next album. I've been working on this album that's out, like you said, Famous Friends, the deluxe edition. But I've got, buddies of mine that I've been writing with and recording with, and I'm looking around a room that I'm in right now as you're playing this video, which I think is hilarious. Because the nearest thing to me is a famous friend's plaque. I don't know, man. I've just been incredibly lucky over the course of my career, and it's so early. I've got so much more left to do. I've got so much more left to say. And at the end of the day, I'm just in one of those positions where it's like, man, I get to go to work every day and love what I do, and get to play music. So I'm not going to complain about anything.
Listen, if I had Chris's voice, I'd be in the studio 24/7.
Well, I'm shamelessly hitting him up to let me play fiddle on the record. I want a Chris Young plaque on my wall at some point. So I'm working my way into your next record, whether you want me to or not. Damn it! All right, now Chris is.
Hey, I'll say this. No one knows this yet, but I'm not even supposed to say this, but we're in the process of getting one of my albums triple platinum certified right now.
Oh,
what? Congratulations!
So I will send you one. I will put your name on it.
Look at that. Look at that. I'll take it. I never wanted the plaques from the records I played on until I got out of the business, and then I thought it was stupid I didn't. And now I look at them every time in my office, and I'm like, I'm proud of what I did.
I did that, absolutely.
Chris Young should be proud of this resume. We're putting this up for a reason. Just some of the things he's accomplished. The 13th #1 single you see at the end of the bar, double platinum certification for Famous Friends, member of the Opry, tons of CMT awards, CMA awards, ACM awards. But for all that he's done.
But what's he missing? What's he missing, Fitzy?
He's missing one incredible trophy.
Yes.
You know what? The world may not know this. But Chris Young is the first ever two-time guest.
That's right.
On the Kickoff presented by Ram. So we decided to get Chris the ultimate trophy. Yeah. I know, you have a bunch of big ones. This one is a solid, let's say it's this big, so that's like 18 inches. It's huge.
Find some room.
It's a huge, we're gonna send you this, and then wherever you want to put it in the studio for you as your ESPN award, feel free.
Chris, that'd be really great.
All right, so is this the end of what we're doing?
Yes, yeah, sure.
Okay, so here, I'm just gonna pick this up. Like, I'm going to put it over there.
Dude, look at Come on.
That's amazing.
Come on.
Look at all the art. Oh, this is incredible.
Get a baby mantle for it.
This is just well done. Hey, man, we always appreciate you coming on. I don't think you're going to have any luck on Saturday, but I do think you will on Sunday. Either way, we're always rooting for you around here. Appreciate you. And again, I'm playing on your next record, whether you want me to or not. We're sending you the trophy. Be sure to check out the deluxe edition of Famous Friends. Chris, as always, my friend, we appreciate you. Love you, brother.
Thanks, Chris.
Hey, cheers, fellas.
All right, so now that we've had that fun, we got to do a little cooking. It's time for some tailgating tips. All right, Gary, if you ask me, chili is the ultimate tailgate thing to bring. All right, it's versatile. You can use it in a lot of ways, and I'm ready to make it for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready to be taught something.
Okay, there's some lessons to this. Number one, nobody wants fast chili, right? So you got to start it the night before. So you got to get a crock pot. Do you know what one of these? Do you even know what this is?
I do own one of these. It's collecting copious amounts of dust at my house.
So much work to do. Okay, well, we're going to use this crock pot the night before, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start with some meat and some onions. Okay, we sauteed that. We've got the beef here going with the onions. This is all ready. This is ready to go in the crock pot. Okay, so we're going to add that real simple. We add this to the bottom of this because we want to give it plenty of opportunity to just get in there. So we add a little salt and pepper to taste, whatever you want here. And then we go over to some spices. Okay. You ready for all the spices?
Yes.
We start with a little bit of cinnamon.
Oh, I love cinnamon. She broke my heart.
Wow, I have no comment to that. Next, we'll go to some cumin. We got some chili powder.
Okay.
Got to make it spicy. I know that you like these things to be, a little
singes the nostrils.
Little garlic powder here too. Okay. We're gonna add some beans here. Beans, your choice, whatever you want. We're gonna add a little of that, and then some crushed tomato.
Okay.
So just pop that in. See what we're doing here, making magic. But you want to also have some
things got moist,
real tomato.
Okay,
in
sure.
Here. So we're gonna get some chopped tomato in there, get a little magic there. And now, you ready for my secret ingredient?
I've been wondering what the heck this has just been sitting on the table for.
Everybody's got their chili secret. This has won me several awards. I'm telling you, you go with a 0 sugar cola.
Can you list some of those awards?
Well, 13 13 Grammy nominations. Wow, that just didn't feel right. Now we cover this. We let this cook. We're going to let it cook overnight, okay? And that's what I did last night because I am a good tailgate partner, so I already have this ready. Now, I could put this in a bowl, and I could hand you a bowl of chili. It'd be delightful. But I know you like to walk and talk and meet with the fans.
Love that.
You have so many of, and you are, you know.
Oh, that's amazing.
Snapchat and Twitter, you're like super famous, but you never seem to get me any of those followers. It's fine.
Forgot TikTok, but yeah, that's fine. It's not a big deal.
Oh my God! I'll give you a little bit of cheese on top. I will give you some onions, and because I know you like it spicy, I'm gonna give you some jalapenos.
Those are my favorite ingredients on this whole table. Everything does look fresh and awesome, but you know I love some fresh sliced jalapenos.
Just gonna keep.
I mean, I love them, but I don't love them that much. But hey, that's fine.
You're the one that said you love them, all right? So I'm gonna make myself one real quick because you know it takes two to tango. We all got to join in on the fun. Give me some cheese. I'm not as into the spicy thing as you are, so I'm going to leave the jalapenos behind. But most importantly, we can go hang out with the folks, maybe steal a drink from someone.
Perfect. Yeah, that's the one thing we're missing, a bev.
Let's go.
Should we go find one? All right.
Those are your tailgating tips presented by Ram Trucks.
What have you done, Fitzy?
Look, I love a good costume change, right? Like, I'm the full Britney Spears here. I've gone to the point that, like, have we noticed, too, like, my shoes are fire with this whole outfit, this ensemble,
you are
as it were.
very coordinated.
So this is...
It's Britney.
I've been looking forward to this for a while.
I haven't.
All week, I've been looking forward to this. What we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of fun with some hot takery, all right? Because
not even hot takes, mine.
We disagree on some core things that we think will happen this season in the NFL. And with the kickoff, presented by Ram Trucks, being what we're about to see in the NFL over the course of the weekend, we figured I'll give you a take, you give me your side on it, and then you'll have 30 seconds. When the play ends, I will gently send this whistle at you. Are you ready?
Yeah, tee up the first one.
All right, so the first topic, Gary Striewski.
Okay.
The Patriots will miss the playoffs. What do you think?
On what planet will the Patriots miss the playoffs? Are they going to win the AFC East? No, of course not. You have the Buffalo Bills, but now we have 3 wild card teams. They won 10 games last year with that schedule, with that rookie quarterback. He's had a year of maturation. He has a year with those guys. They went out and got him some new weapons. Devontae Parker is going to be big. Listen, I know that the play calling situation was a little suspect, but until Bill Belichick is not on the sidelines in New England, you cannot count this team out to make the postseason as a wild card or otherwise.
You're so wrong.
Nothing I said.
The Patriots are not making the playoffs. Number one, the AFC as a whole got better. Number two, Mac Jones is not competitive with the best of the quarterbacks in the AFC. Number three, you can't have it both ways when it comes to your coaching situation. Josh McDaniels was a highly touted coach, now with my beloved Raiders for a reason. He's able to get through on great offensive concepts. He's gone now. Their starters got their butts kicked in the preseason by backups by several teams because they look inept on offense. At some point, you can only take so many losses before you have to say, I don't care how good Belichick is. You can only make fire with a certain amount of wood. They don't have enough wood to get it done. See how that is? You don't get to respond. I'm also
Actually, you know what? Go ahead. Go to the next topic. That was a good way to end it.
Speaking of people I'm out on, let's go to this one. The Bucs are Super Bowl contenders.
Again, for the same exact reason that I use with my New England logic, yes, the interior offensive line has some issues. Do you think that's not the sole focus on what they're doing down there in Tampa? You still have Tom Brady. Whatever he's dealing with outside of the lines has never affected his play inside of the lines. 45, where's the clip? They didn't lose anybody. Their defense is still awesome, and their offensive weapons are going to be great. Chris Godwin, he's going to come back from the injury. Listen, they still got Mike Evans. They're going to make the playoffs. Who's going to beat them in the NFC South?
They're going to make the playoffs, but the question is, are they Super Bowl contenders?
Yes.
And the answer isn't just no, it's hell no. Because you can sit here and look at the NFC across the board and make a compelling, easy argument that top to bottom as a roster, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Packers, the Vikings, the Rams, even though they got throttled, the 49ers, all the way across the board. They're all better. All right, one more. Aaron Rodgers will lead the league in passing
touch and play each other in the division. The Tampa Bay Bucs have an easy
no offensive line. No offensive line.
To the playoffs.
All right, one more. Aaron Rodgers will lead the league in passing touchdowns.
Why is it a hot take to say that Aaron Rodgers?
Can I get this every week? Go ahead. Did you want to say yes or no? Go ahead. I should.
You're hurting my feelings, Fitzy. Why is it a hot take to say that one of the best quarterbacks of our generation of all time is going to lead the league in passing. Something that he's done 3 times.
Who's he throwing to? Gary Striewski?
Who did he throw to in 08 in 2012? He makes the receivers. The receivers don't make him. Devontae Adams, yeah, he was a second-round pick. Was Jordy Nelson a perennial all-pro? Was Donald Driver? Was Greg Jennings? No.
This has been the Kickoff.
Makes the receiver.
He's
the
wrong.
Receiver
Aaron Rodgers
doesn't make
I'm out.
the quarterback.
I'm not out on the Kickoff. Come back, hang out with us every single Friday. He's Gary Striewski. I'm Jason Fitz. This has been the Kickoff, presented by Ram Trucks. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Go back to Foot Locker.